So the president had a rally last night in Pennsylvania. Very interesting to see what he's going with and what he's not. Jonathan Martin over at the New York Times had an excellent and insightful piece. Let's throw that up there on the screen. Essentially what Jonathan observes here correctly is that the president's aides have been trying to push him in a more populist direction. So the script that they wrote for the president were like talking about Joe Biden and globalism.
They said Mr. Biden was a servant of the radical globalists who shipped away your jobs, shut down your factories, and you know it because you really suffered right in this area, threw open your borders, and ravaged our cities, was the scripted line, which he did read.
Which is good. I mean, good. Keep going. But part of the issue, actually, is that what was left unsaid is that there were a lot of grievances. And look, it's a Trump rally. There always are. But he did not use the platform to push Republican senators, like Pat Toomey, by the way, who represents that state and definitely would not vote for stimulus as it stands right now, to vote for the bill. And that's actually what it would take to actually get any of this stuff done. And at the same time, I mean, he talked about trying to get Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf to reopen the state. Now, look, I know there's a lot of complicated feelings on the right about reopening, and I will admit that there are Democratic governors who have been crazy in the way that all this power dynamics, the way that it's been implemented, protests versus churches. I get it. But politically, it's a disastrous strategy. We just have to admit it. Public polling is dramatically against lifting these types of restrictions. They are. We just have to face it. Andrew Cuomo and Gretchen Whitmer are very popular, and they continue to go after and pursue these decisions. I'm not saying they won't have dramatic ramifications for people over the many years, and we've covered exactly what that looks like. But at the same time that he's doing that, we also found out that the White House has just signed on to this declaration of herd immunity, embracing a declaration from the scientists that opposes lockdowns and relies on, quote, herd immunity. Now, you can actually oppose lockdown and also oppose a herd immunity strategy. But by going in this direction, it's actually the least popular vein for the American people. And in a world where Trump takes coronavirus more seriously in February and March, a lot of this lockdown rhetoric and the herd immunity, maybe he has the credibility to persuade the American people that this is the right strategy. Again, I think it's a legitimate point of argument, but we're not there right now. So politically, I want to focus on that. This is very politically damaging for seniors. You're doing herd immunity, you're going in a herd immunity direction, and you're not talking about stimulus. Every day you do that, you're losing more votes. And
we covered here yesterday some of the new ads that were aimed at seniors, and one of them was a negative on Biden about foreign policy, Iraq, and things like that. The other one was like, I'm taking coronavirus seriously. We've got a plan. We've got this under control. Wearing the mask, the whole bit. Like, you just flushed money down the toilet running an ad like that, when what you see on the television is the president out at a rally, by the way, with everybody there and close together, no masks and all of that, which those visuals I think are very damaging ultimately, and saying things like this and signing on to herd immunity declarations and all the rest. So yeah, the campaign is looking at the polling and they're like, here's what we need to do. We need to have more populist rhetoric. We need to have a populist attack against Joe Biden, and we need to take coronavirus seriously.
And take seniors back.
And Trump is doing none of that. It was actually interesting also in that Jonathan Martin piece, there's this revealing moment where Trump goes off the script. So the scripted line about Joe Biden is about like shipping your jobs overseas and opening the borders and all of that. But what he unscripted said about Joe Biden is also very revealing. He's like, I'm running against the single worst candidate in the history of presidential politics. And you know what that does? That puts more pressure on me. Can you imagine if you lose to a guy like this? It's unbelievable. Which, you know what? He's right. Joe Biden is not an amazing candidate. He's not running an amazing campaign. He's doing next to nothing. The boldest part of his declaration that he's going to wear a mask and make you wear a mask on federal property. That's his whole campaign. And yes, the fact that he's beating you by 10 points right now is utterly pathetic. But all of the reasons why that is the case right now were endemic in that speech last night and in his actions this week.
Yes, exactly. Which is, look, I've said it here. The best thing he could do for his reelection is pressure these idiot Republican senators to vote for a bill and to join him and put it all on Nancy Pelosi for holding this up. That's what it should. It should be more on Biden globalism and on this front. But like I said, politically, no matter what you think of this, The politics are against you. The public is generally against trying to reopen the economy, and especially on lockdown restrictions and whenever it comes to herd immunity. It just is. It's like an 80-20 issue.
People want to be safe.
Can't get around it. And I mean, you can argue and you can make the case, but the case has not been made. And because people don't trust Trump, he's got like a 2/3 distrust figure, maybe even higher, whenever it comes to coronavirus information. That's just how it is.
Think about the way that Republicans intuitively understood how the threat of terror was such a potent argument.
Sure.
Because, or crime. I mean, that's another thing. Like, when people feel that their physical security and health is threatened,
yeah, they freak out.
It's an incredibly potent, and I understand that. That's an incredibly potent emotion, and you can't just wish that away and be like, you'll be fine, don't worry about it. Herd immunity. Herd immunity means that you're accepting that there are going to be a lot of deaths, and that's just like what you have to deal with. And look, I guess you can argue for that view, but the reality is, as you're saying, the polling, and in my view, the right course is to get this thing under control, and the economy's not going to be able to open fully back up until it is, and then we can all move forward from there.
Yeah.
Tomorrow on Rising, Executive Director of the American Compass, Orrin Cass, is going to join us, as well as author David Goodhart. He's going to discuss his new book, Head, Hand, Heart, Why Intelligence is Over-Rewarded, Manual Workers Matter, and Caregivers Deserve More Respect.
Amen. Remember to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our videos. Don't forget to like and share as well, and we will see you guys tomorrow.
Have a great day, everybody.